Morning, folks. I'm Dave Canterbury with Self-Reliance Outfitters and the Pathfinder School. And at the Pathfinder School out here in Southeast Ohio, we teach everything from basic, intermediate, and advanced survival to bushcrafting, modern trapping, primitive trapping, intensive navigation, medicinal edible plants, folk skills, ropes and rigging, and wilderness first aid. If you'd like to check out our classes, you can go to our website at selfrelianceoutfitters.com. Go to the training tab and pull it down, and you will see all the classes listed with descriptions and pricing. Now, the reason for this video today is I have a modern trapping class that starts day after tomorrow, runs through Tuesday. Okay, so because we're teaching a modern trapping class this weekend out here, and this is not part of the Depression era trapping series, the first thing that we'll teach is Trapper's education. During that Trapper's education, we'll talk a little bit about planning for emergencies and a last ditch kit for a trapper. One of the things that happens when you're trapping is you're carrying a lot of weight already because you've got the traps, you've got tools, you may be dragging animals from one point to another. You're generally going to be on foot at least part of the time. You may have a vehicle, but you may be out and back from that vehicle. And so what you need is some type of a last ditch kit that will help you with cold weather injuries. So sudden onset of hypothermia, cold water immersion, basically just getting too cold in your feet, in your hands, where you've had your hands in the water messing with beaver sets, or you've had your feet, you stepped in water that was over the top of your boots and now you're wet because you weren't wearing waders. Those type things you need to plan for, okay? And what I do is I put together a last ditch bag that's a 20-liter dry bag that goes on the bottom of my pack frame that my pack basket sits on top of my bull pack frame. We'll talk about that in a few minutes, okay? But I've been using the bull pack frame and trash can system for years, and it cannot be beat when it comes to the trap line as far as I'm concerned, especially if you're walking very far, okay? Because that pack frame is great for carrying weight. That's what it's designed for. So remember with this, okay, one caveat to this whole thing is you're not gonna lose what's in your pockets. You're not gonna lose what's attached to your person. So let's not think, well, we have to have the kitchen sink in here, because we should have a lot of stuff with us. What I want here is things that are going to help me with a cold weather injury or the possibility of a cold weather injury to help stave that off long enough for me to get dry and warmed up and get out. That's what we're concerned with. So let's talk about this kit piece by piece, and you'll see that it's pretty simple. All right, so the crux of this kit, or what this kit is wrapped in, is a blanket roll. This is a 100% queen size wool blanket, Pathfinder brand, made in the USA at a US mill, okay? This is a US 100% merino wool blanket, 96 by 96 queen size, nice and thick, heavy pile. This is an excellent wool blanket. We've been selling this thing for years, working with the same mill for years, and they make a great blanket. And again, we're proud to offer US made products when we can, okay? To go with this, we're gonna need a few things that we're gonna talk about, and we're just gonna slide down the line as we go. All right, so let's move this out of the way for a minute and kind of slide down as we go here. We have a 7x7 tarp right here, just a sil nylon tarp. It's one I've had for years and years, so it's kind of an extra tarp that I kind of keep rolled up in here so I don't have to worry about it, okay? Then I have a set of merino wool base layers, all right? These are not expedition weight. I would probably be wearing the expedition weight and have to dry those out. These are a lighter weight, but they are merino wool, so if I had to strip down to get things dried out, I could put these on really quickly to at least add some warmth or add a layer of warmth while I'm standing in front of the fire, okay? Slide this down a little bit. I've got a spare pair of wool gloves in here, 100% wool, GI style wool gloves. I have a set of merino wool, minus 33 degree socks in here, heavy, long socks, okay? These are heavy winter socks. Wet feet suck, okay? This will help that. I've got a couple lengths of cordage in here. One's ridgeline length, one's a little bit shorter than that. It gives me a clothesline to dry clothes out on if I need to. It gives me a shelter line to put up a shelter if I need to. For temporary basis, again, we're just trying to trap heat. We're not planning to spend the night there. We're trying to trap heat till we can get out, okay? And get ourselves warm, get our clothes dry. That's what's important. So the next thing is fire, okay? I have an Exotac waterproof match case here with storm matches in it that once you get them lit, even if they get soaked with water, they will still burn, okay? They're attached to a lanyard to put that around my neck when I'm using this so I don't lose it around the fire. If my motor dexterity or something like that's getting a little off, I don't want to be dropping this thing in the fire and losing it somewhere, so I'm going to put it around my neck. I have a 15-minute flare right here. That gives me instantaneous open flame for 15 minutes to get a fire going if I need to. And then of course, I have the lighter in my pocket, the things in my pocket I used to start fire with already. This is just an addition to that. Now, the next thing is a black whoopee. This is a whoopee jacket, but it gives me a layer I can put on over the merino wool to keep my core warm. It's got a hood on it with a drawstring I can draw down to keep me warm and toasty around the fire, and I can wrap the wool blanket around this for extra insulation and extra layering, okay? All of this rolls up in this wool blanket, goes in this 20-liter dry bag, and I'll show you how I store this on my pack basket in just a second. All right, so we're gonna take our wool blanket and we're gonna measure it off, make sure it's in thirds and about the length of our dry bag. It'll compress a little bit after that. We're gonna throw our tarp in this bad boy, just like that. We've got our fire starting elements here at the top and cordage for the shelter. Socks, gloves. Beside that, base layers, just like that. Last but not least, the whoopee jacket. Kind of lay it flat here just like this. All this stuff will compress, so it's no big deal. Now we're just going to fold this over the top like this, and we're going to roll this dude down just like this. Get down toward the end, I like to fold it up a little bit just to make myself a little envelope there. And then, all right, then we're just going to take our dry bag, slide that roll in there just like this. Shake everything down to the bottom, just like that. Now we can take this top portion right here and kind of squash it down a little bit just like this. Fold this up. Really get things compressed now. Just like this. Squeeze the air out of it. Fold that dude over and lock it down. Okay? And that is our emergency kit. Now you're probably looking at a good 10-ish pounds there, maybe a little more than that. Trapping ain't for sissies, okay? So if weight's a big deal to you, you ain't gonna trap anyway because trap's a weight ton. So an extra 10 pounds ain't gonna hurt nothing. All right, so this is my bullpack frame with my trash can pack basket on it. You can see it's got heavy duty padding on it for carrying weight. It's got a waist strap, it's got a good pad on the back, heavy metal frame, and a nice shelf at the bottom that's just got enough room right there for a 20-liter dry bag. Just push it down in there just like that. Got about an 1.5 inches hanging over both sides. I've got a hole drilled in the bottom of this pack basket so it will drain anyway. I've got several holes drilled in here. One of them has a cord with a toggle on it so that I can come down and toggle off this bottom point, pull this down with that modified trucker's hitch, just like that, and secure it on the pack. Go back underneath here one time just like that, come up and tie it off. Couple half hitches there. Last one slippery. There we go. We just tuck our tails in, so they're kind of out of the way there. Now we're ready to rock and roll. Okay guys, listen, I appreciate you joining me out here today for this video on the last ditch emergency kit for trapping. Again, this is designed more for trapping around water and cold water immersion or cold weather injuries that can come on quickly from getting your feet, your hands, things like that wet, or your clothing wet during the trapping season. Attached to it is the trap basket, just an empty Rubbermaid can. This thing is about 8 or 9 years old, still going strong. Full pack frame, probably the same age, still going strong. Nothing wrong with this kind of kit for trapping. Again, you're not going to carry every single trap for your line probably at one time. You're going to carry enough tools to make your sets, and water sets don't take near the tools that land sets do, so it's a little easier to do things. But you can stack this thing up with, half a dozen Canterbury's or half dozen foothold traps in that bad boy for around the water's edge. Put a few tools in there, throw a canteen of water in there, and rock and roll, and you're ready to go trapping. Appreciate your views. I appreciate your support. I thank you for everything you do for our school, for our family, for our business, for all of our sponsors, instructors, affiliates, and friends, and for all of those American companies that we collaborate with. We appreciate you. I'll be back with another video as soon as I can, guys. Thanks.